Hi, my name is Rahul Srivastav, and in today's video we are going to learn something on Preference Dividend Coverage Ratio. Now this video is in continuation to our earlier video on MSME wherein we had covered interest coverage ratio. So let us straight away move to the topic, that is Preference Dividend Coverage Ratio. Now first question that comes to mind is, this ratio is used by whom? So first and foremost, this ratio is used by preference shareholders. This ratio is used by preference shareholders. Now you will ask me, what are these preference shareholders? So preference shareholders, basically in common sense, if we want to understand, which then we can say that if the company enters bankruptcy, अगर कोई company bankrupt हो जाती है, तो then preference stockholders और shareholders are entitled to paid from company assets. मतलब उनको company के assets से जो भी shares मिलेंगे वो पहले मिलेंगे कॉमन स्टॉक होल्डर्स या शेयर होल्डर्स से. सो बेसिकली उनको प्रेफरेंस दिया जाता है. सो दे आर नोन एज प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स. सो पहला क्वेश्चन, this ratio is used mainly by whom? So this ratio is mainly used by preference shareholders. Next question, why are they interested in knowing about this dividend coverage ratio? So they are interested in knowing about this preference dividend coverage ratio because they would be interested in knowing this because what would be the level of profits that is available for covering the preference dividend liability is what is known from this ratio. You got my point? Means what would be the level of profits, जो भी level of profit available है, what would be the level of profit that would be available for covering the preference dividend liability, which shall covering the preference dividend liability. So this ratio is determined by preference shareholders to know the level of profit that would be covering the preference dividend liability. So straight away we can say that this ratio we would be comparing profit after tax with preference dividend liability. Now why we are using profit after tax? If you are not aware of this, then I request you to go to my video of interest coverage ratio, wherein I have explained wherein we are using profit after tax and where we are using profit before tax. So here we can say that under preference dividend coverage ratio, profit after tax is compared with what? So is compared with preference dividend liability. Preference dividend liability. So let us suppose that for any company profit after tax suppose is 100, okay, and suppose preference dividend liability is suppose 50. So then we need to derive what is the preference dividend coverage ratio. So this lead us to a formula wherein we can write that preference dividend coverage ratio means preference dividend coverage ratio, PDCR, is nothing but profit after tax, means profit after tax divided by preference dividend liability, divided by preference dividend and liability, preference dividend liability. So if we'll derive this from this formula, then what we'll get? Profit after tax is rupees 100. See, this is rupees 100. So 100 divided by preference dividend liability is 50. So 50 to the 100. So 2 times. So 2 times is the answer for preference dividend coverage ratio. So this was in brief about what is preference dividend coverage ratio. I hope you got an idea about this. Again, if you like my initiative, then please share this in your other groups. Also request you to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for latest updates. Thank you for watching the video.